guys, what we need to complete, we need to complete the storage account. The reason, in the function app, there is a function called Azure Queue Storage Trigger. So to complete this topic, particular topic, we should understand what is this. So guys, what will I do now? I'll try to explain the storage account now. And after I explain this service, we will be using this service in the function app. Then the function app topic will be over, guys. So let us first create one storage account. Okay, guys, have you ever heard of SharePoint? What is SharePoint?
To keep the files on the cloud.
Yeah, for example, guys, to manage all your company's documents, to share those documents with your team, generally each company can have SharePoint portals, guys. Have you ever seen it, SharePoint? Have you ever received any document in your company's SharePoint account? Have you seen that earlier? Anyone?
Yes.
Yeah. So guys, like SharePoint, if your company is not using SharePoint, and guys, they may ask you to store the documents in the storage account service of your cloud. Guys, in real time, how many, okay, guys, there will be a front-end developer, there will be a back-end developer, there will be testers, DB guy, DevOps engineer, guys. All these guys, will they create any documents? What do you think? Or they will just write code? What do you think? Anyone? Guys, every person in your team will definitely create document. If he is a programmer need to write a design document, guys, which shows the code design document where how he has written the code and everything. He has to draft it. As a DevOps engineer, you will also create project DevOps document as well as cloud document. If there is a tester, he has to prepare test cases. He need to create test summary reports. So guys, each person, it could be your project manager, product manager, each and every person will create a lot of documents, guys. And in real time, you will be creating a folder in SharePoint and you can store all those documents there. That is one way. The other way, if your company is not using SharePoint, they may ask you to create this storage account. Guys, storage account is mainly used to store PDFs, images, Word documents, audio files, meeting recordings, video files, and project files as well, guys. So let us first create one. I'm creating a storage account, guys. If you look at here. Yes. If you look at here, guys, I am creating storage account. Sample. Guys, do you know what is local redundant storage and what is geo redundant storage? Guys, did I explain this? Okay. Guys, do you know each and every service which we create in cloud? For example, guys, you have created a storage account in Australia region, guys. And guys, do we need to create a duplicate copy or what or not? What do you think?
Yes, we should.
Why we need a duplicate copy, guys?
In case of a disaster. Backup.
Actually, guys, what happened 2 years back when war was broken in between Russia and Ukraine, we used to use a service called PDF Generator API. And that service, our company used to use it. It was stored in Ukraine's data center. On day one of the war, Russians bombed the data center. So what might have happened to our documents, guys? All API documents. What is the data center, guys?
Having the redundant power supply, networking.
Yeah, for example, guys. If you look at here, guys, these are all data centers. You can see inside. This is outside look of a data center. Inside this, you will be having a lot of servers, hard disk, network, power, everything. You can see, you will be seeing a lot of racks here. Each rack will have their own network pipes and the power supply pipes, guys. And whatever service which we are creating in that region, that service is going to be created in these hard disk, guys. And if someone bomb this, what will happen? We will lose complete data of our application. And guys, if data is lost, we can't retrieve it, correct? If any natural calamity, not only war, guys, there could be floods in that area, earthquakes like that. Guys, it will always good if we have a copy stored somewhere else. So what happened, guys, if we have a copy stored in somewhere else, we can retrieve the data from the second region. Is it correct or not? Guys, are you getting my point?
Yes.
If you look at here, guys, can anyone tell me what is locally redundant storage? You can see lowest cost option with basic protection against server rack and drive failures. recommended for non-critical scenarios. Guys, if you look at this particular picture, here, guys, can you see there are a lot of racks here? Can you see this, guys? All racks are there. Can you see this? And if you look at here, there are power supply and network supply are there for these racks. Can you see that there? Yes, are there?
Yeah.
So, guys,
Yes.
what is this? Actually, if there is a data center, if it is a single building, guys, do we need multiple power sources and multiple network source, or is it okay to have only single power source and single network source? What is power source, guys? The power, na, guys. We all servers should have power, the current, and all servers should have internet as well. Correct or not, guys? Correct?
Yes.
So, if you take any data center, first question: will a data center contains a single power source, single network source, or multiple power sources and multiple network sources? What do you think?
Multiple.
Definitely multiple, guys. Why? What happens if we use only one power source, one network source?
If
power
rack get down, it will
Single
shut down.
point of
everything will stop and all applications will go down. So, guys, definitely they will be having multiple power sources and multiple network sources. In my house, I have BSNL and ACT. Why I have two Wi-Fis? If something happened to my first Wi-Fi, the second Wi-Fi may work. Recently, both Wi-Fis are not working. That is another way, another situation. Okay, now, guys, here, guys, what is local redundant copy? If you select this, your main copy will be stored in one rack. The other copy will be stored in another rack of the same data center. And what if you store the same thing into different racks? If something happened to the first, the data can be retrieved or accessed from the other rack, correct or not? But, guys, it is not fully secure. Why? Anything can happen for the whole data center, na, guys. Are you getting my point? Guys, are you getting my point?
Yes.
Guys, here, if something happened to this power line or this network line, all hard disks which are stored in this particular rack will not work. Actually, that is not a big problem because all other racks are working. Any engineer can repair it. But, guys, if I select, when should I select this local redundant copy? When it is not a business critical application, it is non-critical scenario, then select this. For example, for all dev, SIT, UAT, you can always select local redundant storage. And can anyone tell me what is geo redundant storage? Intermediate option with failover capabilities in a secondary region. Recommended for backup scenarios. What is the meaning of that, guys?
It's a different data center, not this one.
Completely in different data center. So, guys, generally nothing can happen to more than one data center at a single point of time. Correct or not? Guys, are getting my point? Another, if you know, there was an issue at Japan's Fukushima nuclear reactor some 7-8 years back. Have you ever heard about that? In Japan, there was a nuclear reactor which failed, which is very near to the sea. A natural calamity has happened. Yeah. At that time also, guys, the data center which is near to that particular reactor, it got affected. So, guys, what happens if something happened to the first region? No problem, guys. The total data center may go down, but you can, if you have the same data copy in another region, end users will not get affected. They'll always retrieve the data. Correct or not? Guys, are you getting my point? Correct? Okay. So, guys, select redundancy means duplicate copy. If it is SID UAT dev, select local. For production, select geo. If you select geo, it is more costly, but that is the best thing. And, guys, here you can see there are performance, guys. Standard recommended for most scenarios. General purpose V2 accounts, guys. Premium means guys, very simple. If you select the premium, what will happen? You can actually select different blobs and file shares. And it will, okay, so can anyone tell me what is latency?
how quickly data can be retrieved.
Slowness? Yeah, slowness, guys. If there is any latency in an application, what will happen? The end users will get some delays when they try to access it, and it will not be good, correct? If there is an application, the latency on the application should be very low. Is it correct or not? Guys, correct or not?
Yes.
Low latency means no delays for the end user. For example, guys, you have deployed an application on an app service. Initially, you thought only 100 users are using it. Guys, when 100 users are using it, no problem. Everyone using correctly, no delays for that. But what happens if the same app service will access it by more than 1 lakh people? Then what will happen, guys? It doesn't have the latency. A lot of slowness will be introduced within the app service. A lot of users will get latency, more latency. Correct or not? Yes, correct or not? Okay, fun now, guys. Don't think a lot. Select standard for dev, SID, UAT. select premium for production. So and guys, if you select premium, it is costly. Geo, it's costly. So guys, now let us create this storage account. Now I'm trying to create a storage account. And why, can anyone tell me why will I use this storage account?
So that we can share.
You can store and share documents, project documents, PDF, images, audio files, video files like that. And even project files can also be stored inside a storage account. Wait for a minute. Guys, I'm getting one call. Just a minute. Guys, if you look at here, we have successfully created a storage account. And here, guys, if you look at here, it will contain mainly not same as OneDrive, guys. No, it is not, definitely not same as OneDrive. I'll explain guys why it is not. If you look at here, guys, it has mainly 4 data storages. First, guys, let us learn about these containers. What is a container? If you look at here, guys, what can I do? Okay, guys. Till now, can anyone tell me to deploy the front-end component, what we have used? What service which we have used?
App service.
App service. To deploy the backend component, we have used? Functional. But guys, to deploy the front-end component, you can use containers of a storage account. That means, guys, what can I do? If you look at here, there is a concept called static website. And here, if you enable it, actually, okay, I'll explain how to deploy a project to a storage account container, guys. Here, if you look at this container, what we can do, you can actually deploy your front-end component on a container as well, guys. That means you are storing your final application inside a container. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, here, what is the storage account and what is the storage account container? Both are same?
Storage account means where you can store the data. Data means, guys, what is data? Data can be anything, structured or unstructured. PDF, Word, Excel, audio files, video files, your project applications, all these things can be considered as data. And guys, storage account is created to store the data. But where you store the data inside a storage account, there are 4 different data storages inside a storage account. Are you getting my point? Storage account is the main thing, guys. In this storage account, you will be having different data storages. Depending upon the type of data, you will use one of these 4 data storages. Are you getting my point? Guys, clear or not?
Yes.
What is container? Container is a way of storing the data inside a storage account. Now, guys, just remember this. In interview, they will be asking, have you ever deployed any application inside a storage account? Then you should say yes. Then they will ask, in which data storage you have deployed your application? Then what should be the answer?
Containers.
Containers. It's simply containers. So guys, in these 3, you can't deploy any application, but if it in the containers, you can do that. Now let's create.
And one more thing, like this container, like we like know about the Docker containers only.
No,
like
no,
this,
that is different. This is different. This is different. Docker container is completely different, guys. In interview, if they ask you to explain about container, you should ask whether it is a storage account container or Docker container. These 2 are 2 different topics. We are going to deploy applications in Docker containers as well, guys. In our future classes, we will be creating Docker containers on Windows virtual machines, Linux virtual machines. Yeah, those topics can come later. But now just understand this. There are 2 different containers in the cloud. One is storage account container. Second is Docker container. Okay. 2 different things. Okay. Clear? Guys, clear or not? Clear? Now we are discussing about storage account container, not your Docker container. Now, guys, let us give a name to it. What name I can give? Okay.
Sir, what type of data we can store in this container?
Any data means it could be a simple Word document or PDF document like that. Or it could be, I told you now, a project file. Guys, before we create anything in the container, I want to show you one picture, guys. Guys, everyone, can you see this picture? I have already shown this to you. Guys, can you see this picture? Is it visible for everyone? Is this visible for everyone? Okay, guys, by looking at this picture, guys, can anyone tell me what is there? Can anyone tell me that? What, okay, just tell me what is there. Any idea about this picture or the components which you're looking at in this diagram?
User is trying to get the storage or a data basically, and it is providing it to Azure function.
Guys,
User
no.
accessing it.
Yeah, like with this image, like the user is able to access authentication and authorization is performing by the Active Directory. And once it is authenticated, then it will move to the whatever the web service. From web service, like the request will goes to if the customer user is requesting something, then the web service also will get the data from whatever the storage content. Yeah, like that, and the response will come via Active Directory.
No, guys, no, wrong. Okay, just guys, here you should understand. Can you please tell me which database component they are using? It is SQL database.
SQL database.
SQL database. So in this project, to create the database, actually, guys, what will happen in real time? There will be a solution architect or cloud architect. They will be providing this picture to us. By looking at this picture, what you need to do, guys, you have to design or you have to develop the entire project. How will you do that? If you look at this picture, there is a single page application. It's a web application. There will be end users. And you can see, can you see, guys, it's a blob storage static website means it's a storage account. Can you look at here? I have shown you guys earlier. Storage account, static website. If you look at here, can you see this? Static website of your storage account. So guys, here what you should understand, the front-end component is deployed to a storage account. It is not to an app service or not to any virtual machine or server. It is on a storage account. Can you see that here? Did you get this point?
Yes.
This is my front-end component. What is my back-end component here?
Sir, can you please repeat once again?
What is the back-end component here?
Azure function.
Azure function. We have yesterday we have seen it, guys. Why we create Azure functions? To deploy the backend component, guys. Backend code will always be deployed to your Azure functions, correct or not? Are you getting my point?
Yes.
And here, what database they have used? SQL database. In real time, it could be MongoDB or PostgreDB or a MySQL. But in this project, what database they have used? SQL database. And guys, there is an important topic called API management. Guys, this is very, very important. That will come in our future classes. So guys, what is that? I'll explain later. But here, guys, what you should understand, we have to create a storage account to host the front-end component. We have to create an Azure function to host the backend component. We need to create SQL DBs to store the database component. And if you look at here, guys, authentication is now happening in AD. Guys, have we done anything in AD till now? Have you seen AD?
App registration.
App registration. If you know, guys, what is this Entra ID?
Azure Active Directory.
Yeah, till now we have only seen this thing, correct? We have created, at the time of creation of the service connection, we have created this app registration, correct or not? Yes, correct or not? So guys, here, from this picture, you should understand the authentication is happening in my AD. And guys, you can see it is a single sign-on authentication. Anyone know what is a single sign-on application? SSO authentication. Any idea? Guys?
Once you get authenticated, you can use the same credential for other services also.
Yes, guys. Only authentication will happen one time, and you need to be added as a user in the AD. If you have done it, don't worry, guys. What is that? I'll explain in detail in our next classes where we deploy this project. You just understand this for now. By looking at this picture, some sort of authentication we need to configure in AD. And guys, by looking at the whole picture, you have to create one storage account, create a APIM, create Azure function, create SQL DB. So 4 services you will create in the cloud. Next, you will not create AD because AD is already there, but you will be configuring SSO in AD. And guys, if you look at this picture, this part, guys, this part can be here, or the same thing can be here, guys. What is the meaning of? Just cut this part from here and paste it here. Can anyone tell me what is the difference then? If I paste this part, if I remove this part from here and if I add like this, what is the meaning of that?
User directly accessing blobs.
Okay. Guys, though you have configured your SSO in AD, if from this picture you should understand the backend component is validating it or calling it, guys. If you look at this picture, guys, what you should understand, the backend programmer should complete this authentication. You will be configuring AD and SSO in AD. but this particular function will be called inside the backend component. If you look at the same thing, guys, if you remove this from here and if you put it here, then the work of authentication belongs to a front-end component, not the backend component or backend developer. Are you getting my point? Why you have an arrow from your Azure function to this AD? Because your Azure function is calling this AD, guys. The SS4 functionality will be called by Azure function. That means, guys, who need to write this code? Backend programmer, front-end person, he will not touch in any sort of authentication. But if this line removed from here and if you add it here, then what should a front-end programmer do? The authentication calling will be done by the front-end programmer. He need to write the code. Are you getting my point?
So you mean to say if any other user, his account is in the Active Directory, try to connect the Azure function, he will not.
No, guys. You guys, no. Just listen. Okay, guys, what will happen in real time? When you are creating, okay, in AD, what you do, guys, you do identity management, device management, application management, these sort of the things will be done inside your AD. But guys, you will configure that there, but someone need to call it. Are you getting my point? Someone need to call it, then only it will be called, guys. If there is a function, if no one calls it, will it work?
No.
Are you getting my point? From this picture, who should call the authentication function?
Azure function.
Backend. Backend or not?
Yeah.
So authentication is configured inside AD, but who is triggering it? Calling it?
Azure function.
That is backend component, correct? If I remove these things from here, if I add it here, what is the meaning of that?
That means authentication will be happened via front end.
Yeah, it will happen via front end, guys. So don't worry, guys. How it will you will be seen in our next classes. But understood something from this picture, guys?
Yes.
So, guys, in real time, you should be given these diagrams only. In interview also, they will be providing this diagram and they ask you to explain it. Then will you explain that with your little knowledge? Now, till now, you only consumed a little knowledge, guys. With your little knowledge, can anyone explain this picture to me? Is it possible now? It's clear, na, guys? Is it clear or not? This picture, is it clear or not?
Yes, it is clear.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. In our future classes, we will be implementing each and every part of this picture. Whatever component which are mentioned in this picture, we are going to create it. We are going to deploy some code there. And if you remember, guys, in our demo class, we have seen that React.NET project, correct? If you remember, do you remember that project, React.NET, that employee department? Do you remember, guys? Anyone remember that?
Yes.
It is actually not a project. Why, guys?
Because we do not have any authentication configured.
No authentication, no APIM. It's not at all a project. I have just shown you how it's a very basic internal application, guys. But in real time, how will be the projects? It is not as simple as I have shown you earlier. Correct or not? You have to properly manage and configure everything, guys. Are you getting my point? Guys, are you getting my point? And which is very easy, guys. Don't worry. Which is very easy. It's not rocket science. It's actually very easy. So how it will be done, how we are going to complete that, you will learn in our future classes. Don't worry. But you should understand this much. Every time when a project starts, you are going to get these types of design documents, guys. It's a software design document. By looking at the document, you should be in a position to identify what are the resources you are going to create in cloud in DevOps. Can anyone tell me, guys, what are the things which you will do in DevOps and what are the things which you will do in cloud? Can anyone explain this to me by looking at this picture? Task in DevOps. Guys, you there?
Only pipeline in the DevOps. Rest, because the rest, all the components, Active Directory, SQL databases, Azure function, storage account.
You should not say like that, only pipelines. You should say there should be a project. First project needed to be created in our DevOps account, correct?
Yes.
And after that, what you will be going to do?
Okay.
After that, we'll be creating these components.
No. Creating components later. In DevOps, just tell me what you need to do in DevOps area. You should ask the front-end, back-end guys to push their code to the repo.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay.
Because here we have two components, correct or not? Actually, three. Correct or not? What are those three main components here?
Front-end, back-end, and database.
Yeah, for these three components, do we need to create three repositories in our project?
Yes.
And do we need to provide clone URLs to the respective programmers?
Yes, but for database also, SQL database also, do we need to
Yeah,
create a
for
repository?
SQL database also, they will be creating, they will be giving us script files, and you need to create build and release pipelines. How it will
Okay.
be, I'll show later. Don't worry.
Okay.
But here, guys, just tell me what are the DevOps things which you need to do? Tell me, DevOps tasks.
Developers will push their code into our DevOps repository. Once they later we will build that code through the
Yeah,
build pipeline. Then we will release it to the web service, Azure web service or Azure
Yeah,
function
before
service
you
to the
release
other.
it, you need to create service in the cloud, correct?
Correct.
Here, guys, very simple. You will be creating a storage account in the cloud. You will be creating API in the cloud. You will be creating Azure function in the cloud. You will be creating SQL in the cloud. These all services will be created in the cloud, and you will be configuring SSO in AD. This is all cloud part. But same thing, guys. You need to create a project in DevOps account. You need to create repos. You need to ask the programmer to push their code to the repositories, and you need to ask them what are the languages they have used to write the code. Will you ask that?
Yes.
For front end and back end, do you ask what are the languages they have used?
Definitely for release pipeline it is for
Yeah, for
build
a
it is
build and
necessary.
release pipeline, we need to know now which language they have used.
Yes.
And guys, these are all part of DevOps accounts. After you write everything, you will get an artifact, then you will create a release pipeline, then you will push the artifact to the cloud. Correct or not? Yes, correct or not?
Yes, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When any picture is given to you, you should tell from scratch till end, guys. We have to perform certain tasks in the DevOps account. We have to perform certain tasks in the cloud account. This is storage account. In that, we have to create this thing. Backend Azure function, you have to deploy this thing. So you have to properly explain the complete diagram to the interviewer. Or you get my point? Yes, clear?
Yes, got it.
Yeah, good. Can I move forward, guys? Is it clear for everyone?
Yes.
Okay, good. Very, very good. Now, okay, very good. You have, okay, what is this AD and everything? I'll explain later, guys. AD is also one of the very important topic. But here, guys, now we are concentrating on a storage account. And guys, I told you, you tell me, guys, why we use storage account containers? Storage account
Store your
container.
files.
To store and
your
share the
files.
data.
You should not use the word files. Instead, you need to use some other thing.
Data.
Perfect. To
SQL
store the
data.
data inside a storage account. And what data storages which are available in storage account?
Containers, file shares, queues, and tables.
Yeah, containers, file shares, queues, and tables. And guys, what type of data you can insert in a container?
Any type of data.
What?
Any type of data.
Unstructured
Video
data.
file.
Structured and
File.
unstructured data.
Unstructured.
Can anyone tell me what is unstructured data?
Video, images.
Yeah, audio
Files,
files,
anything.
MS Word document, PDF, images, these are all unstructured data. What is structured data, guys? Any idea?
Database, tables.
Tables.
SQL database,
Tables,
which is in the
guys.
table
SQL
format.
data tables, those are structured data. So to store any type of these data, we will be using these storage account, correct? Yes, correct or not?
Yes.
Good. Now, among all available 4 data storages, which storage is used to deploy the application in it?
Container.
Containers, guys. Containers. Remember, all these 3 data storages cannot be used to deploy an application, but we will be using containers to create or to deploy our front-end applications, guys. Very, very important. And guys, when they ask how you will deploy any application to the container, then what you should answer? What should be your next question? You should ask them, excuse me, could you please clarify whether it is a storage account container or a Docker container? This is the first question you need to ask the interviewer, guys. Are you getting my point? Guys, are you getting my point?
Yes.
So container, guys, when in Azure cloud, if anyone using the word container, 90% of the time, they're asking about Docker containers. But guys, the interviewer can also ask about storage account containers, guys. And one more thing from this given picture, okay, guys, can anyone tell me when you need to choose app service and when you need to choose containers? You know, both are used to deploy the front-end applications, correct? Guys, correct or not?
Yes.
Have we used app service to deploy the front-end component?
Yes.
HTML, React, we have used it. But what I'm telling now, I can use container as well to deploy my front-end application. Then, okay, then you should decide now when you need to use app service and when you need to use container, correct or not, guys? Did you understand my question?
Yes.
Yes.
Guys, can anyone know? Guys, my apologies today. A little bit theory will be there because before we start this, you should know entire in and out of these particular storage accounts, guys. So can you please tell me what is a B2B application and what is a B2C application? Any idea?
Business to business is the B2B. Means
Yeah.
there are two tenants,
Yes.
different tenants.
Perfect. What is
And
B2C?
B2C, I think business to collaboration, something I'm not sure.
Customer, business to customer.
Customers.
Yeah, all your e-commerce websites, Amazon, Flipkart, those are all B2C applications. And guys, can you please tell me which application will have more users in it?
B2C.
B2C, guys, not B2B. And guys, remember, in real time, if you are deploying or creating an application for B2B application, or if it is an internal application, what is an internal application?
Like a timesheet or
Yeah, timesheets or leave applications, anything else. Your company will maintain some of the applications which will be used by only company employees, correct? Those are known as internal applications, correct or not? If you are creating an internal application or if you are creating B2B applications, then only you have to use story account containers. Are you getting my point? If it is e-commerce or B2C application, then you should never select story account to deploy the front-end component. In those cases, you have to always select app services. Are you getting my point?
no, sir, please repeat again.
Yeah, one more time I'm repeating. The interview will ask you when you will choose the story account container to deploy the front-end component. And he will ask when you will choose app service to deploy the front-end component. Then the answer should be, if it is B2C or if it is any e-commerce B2C applications, you always choose app services to deploy the front-end component. But if it is B2B or internal applications, you have to select storage account containers. Are you getting my point? Why? There is a particular reason for it, guys. Guys, are you getting my point? Is clear or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now let us okay. Now guys, let us create our first container and we will be deploying some of the MS Word documents, images into it, guys. Okay.
Welcome to LWPLABS. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to view free Azure DevOps live classes. And for more videos like this, please contact the number shown in the description. Happy learning!